all I remember is going out of it. I don't remember after that.
How she survived that experience, we have, it was just amazing that she survived. Anissa and I met when we were doing a musical, a Christian musical on the story of Jonah. And so I was Jonah, and Anissa was one of the sailors on the boat, and we kind of met each other. And while we were doing that musical, and we became good friends. Around about 1990, we got married, and so that's how that happened.
Well, I guess they got you to believe in healing, that God can heal. You know, when you were sick, you should go to church and get prayed for. And, for a while there it was good.
And there was one pastor in particular who came up, and he was always trying to control people.
There's a lot of beliefs they were teaching which just, it just wasn't true, like things like speaking in tongues. You have to speak in tongues to have the Spirit.
People falling over under the power of God.
Well, I'm not saying it never happens, but I mean, it was forced.
According to these people, because Anissa had epilepsy, she had a demon, and that demon was causing her to have epilepsy.
I went to this healing session, so-called healing session.
It was around about September or thereabouts in 1994, I think it would have been, when this happened.
When I told them what I had, they said to me on this night, they said, "Oh, well, you'll have to come to our place later and we'll have to pray there because there's some things we really need to focus on. We can't do it here." After the session, I went to the house where this man was staying, and I was told to take my medication with me because we have to have faith to be healed, and if you're going to be healed, you don't need medication.
And so she handed over her drugs, and they poured the drugs down the sink.
And then they started praying against demons, and I was having seizures. And I didn't believe I was demon-possessed.
Anyway, she'd been kept in this room. Her whole body was covered with bruises from head to toe, where she'd been hitting herself against furniture. They would actually hit Anissa around the head with the Bible, and they would push her and hold her down and all those sorts of things.
All I remember is having bruises the shape of hands on my stomach.
She was in a horrible, horrible mess, with epileptic fits every 20 minutes that were lasting for over 5 minutes. She should have been in hospital.
Anyway, I was just out of it, and all I remember after that is Chris coming.
All he could talk about was how we needed to go down to Rockhampton and see the senior pastor in the Rockhampton church and do more deliverance. And I said, "Well, look, she's my wife. She obviously needs medical attention. I'm going to take her out of here. Goodbye."
We went home, but I continued to have seizures after that. I did. And I had some weird seizures.
And we were very, very upset. Nis was in a very bad way. As soon as possible, I took her to the doctor. Within about a day or two, she went to a doctor. And the doctor checked her over and said, the doctor was horrified. And he said, by all rights, she should have died. With all of this sort of stuff, that's one of the reasons why we decided to move back to Brisbane to be closer to medical care, closer to family, because her epilepsy became uncontrolled after that period. The fact that these ministers, by their actions or inaction, almost led to the death of my wife, didn't seem to bother any of the people that we used to know, who we used to call friends. Everyone. There was not one person who was willing to say anything in our defence. They all said, "You can't take a man of God to court."
These men, reckon they knew what they were doing. They didn't know anything what they were doing, and they did more harm than good.